correct once again, you know what I'm saying, talking about some Gemini shit. Welcome to Flaming Sword season, Gemini season, Sun, Moon, Ascendants. I told you on the last live, happy star day. It's y'all time. Let's celebrate, but let's not get lost in the sauce. So, three main topics I want to talk about. So the moon is currently 0 degrees Scorpio, right? So this is thinking deeply deeply overthinking about um uh just deeply overthinking. This could be forms of communication, right? This could be you know, it's taking in the emotional state, it's taking everything that we are thinking about, everything on our mind, and it's taking it way deep down. That's in conjunction with where the sun is at. Gemini, when it gets too deep sometimes, you know, it can cause certain side effects, you know what I'm saying, to where it makes the Gemini energy either come off charming in a very unique way, or like, you know, it's all a little quirky, but they actually be saying some real stuff. Or it can make you over communicate or just do too much when it comes to sharing. You oversharing, you know what I'm saying, to the point where it's distasteful. It's like, damn, everything out their mouth is something vulgar or something I ain't trying to hear. And to the point where it kind of creates this weird energy where, you know, like I said before, you're oversharing. So you start to come to a certain space where it's like, damn, you know, you really shouldn't have said that, or you're talking too much in a realm that nobody else really want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? Which, on the powerful end of that, you could bring a lot of taboo things to the surface, but some things aren't meant to be discussed amongst everybody. You know, you might be the type of person who speak a certain way around children that have other people looking at you like they concerned and shit like that. It could get you into trouble. And you might not see nothing wrong with this because you're just speaking your mind, but hey, your mind don't belong in all corners of the world. Sometimes it's like, it's good to keep your mind where you need to keep it, you know what I'm saying? We in my flight season. Shout out to you, Dave B. No, shout out to you, Rare Vision. Welcome back, you know what I'm saying, man? Shout out to you. Happy star day, you know what I'm saying, whenever it comes around. A fellow Gemini in the building, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, bro. But real shit. So and see, I put the topics in the main points in the description, and I ain't gonna cap. Like, I was doing my best to remind them before I went live. I really need a little note. I should have wrote them. I got this little notebook with me, but I know what it is off the top of my head. Matter of fact, right now, before I forget them all, I want to list them out. So the first one was the moon being in Scorpio, or moving into Scorpio, is deeply overthinking. I had about something, I forgot what it was I said it was about, but it's like deeply overthinking about you know, any and everything. Shout out Joel. I don't know how to say your last name. I'm not even going you know what I'm saying. Shout out Joel, appreciate you coming through. You said, I just thought about this season's theme is go be a man season, all about logic, baby. Real shit. And that gets me to my point about how this moon in Scorpio can throw a lot of people off. So the second part of this, right, is you know, question the quality, or be curious about the quality of thought that you're choosing to entertain or embody. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, you don't really consider the fact that the quality of your thought is a lot of time what gets you in trouble. Like, the quality of thought that you trying to embody or communicate, or because there's a term that I just looked up, and expounding on it. That's what it was, expanding or expounding, because it's dealing with Jupiter. This is like Jupiter and Gemini vibe right here I'm speaking on, where the quality of your thought, you have to consider it before you choose to either expand or expound. To expound on something in the dictionary means to defend it. This is like how you come to some kind of conclusion to justify something. So a lot of things that we believe about ourselves that started off as internal thoughts that we started to develop feelings and started to attach ourselves to are really things that we will defend against others. So let's say you got a nasty thought about yourself, right? Or a negative thought about yourself, a thought about you not being able to achieve a certain thing that you want to do in the world, right? And you entertain this thought, you start to internalize it to the point where you want to expound on it. You defend it. When other person coming around with something positive to say, maybe it's not even directed towards you. Maybe they're just speaking about something they believe in and want to do. Here come your ass in your mind, because that's how people think. That's how we all interact. We think through the eyes of others a lot of times. Like, people will be in it's like how we all say, oh, people are reflections of you, or everybody's a reflection. People be speaking And a lot of times what they speak is what they believe about themselves. That's why, like, a lot of times you'll come to the conclusion that, you know, a lot of what people say don't even really be about you. It'd be about them and how they see the world. So they're defending their disbelief in themselves by speaking negatively towards you. And you have to be mindful of when this might play out, and see if you planted the right seeds. You'll be around people who can speak things that remind you of the things you're supposed to have on your mind, and they'll clean up certain areas in you that you didn't really realize your mind was kind of drifting off. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the big things right now you'll be able to peep game on and notice, like, oh wait, hold up, I must be planting bad seeds if everybody around me is speaking negatively on what I'm trying to do, or speaking negatively in a way that doesn't create no inspiration for you to continue down your path. You know what I'm saying? The right people around you are supposed to motivate you and remind you of what you already see in yourself. That's why the company you keep is highly important. This dude got this little ass bike. Come on now. You is too close. It's tiny bike, big self. No, you don't belong on a bike like that size. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even trying to joke and be like, oh, you fat. I'm just saying, you're a grown man and it's a little boy bike. But hey, to each their own. But for the most part, that's the other part. And then the last part I had on in the description was, you know, last part I had was, it was saying to understand, damn, what was it? So everything we've experienced up until this point, right? You have to realize on some degree you asked for it. So there's lessons and things to be derived from as gifts, if you're willing to look at it that way, that show, okay, what do you prove to yourself by overcoming it? And on the other end, what do the shortcomings and you coming up short help reveal about yourself? So on two different levels, there's things you're experiencing right now that might look negative, right? But the thing about it is, that's the thing about Jupiter and experiences. When you going through an experience, it's up to you to determine whether or not it's positive or negative. And really, at the end of the day, there is no positive or negative. You're really learning in either way. It's just some people choose to go with the lessons, and some people choose to shy away from the lessons and they want to repeat. You know what I'm saying? And again, they might say that they don't want to repeat it, but if you don't take lessons from the things you're experiencing, it must mean you want to experience it again in order to, boom, go right back into that. Shout out John Smith. He said, I thought it was Gucci Mane for a second. Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. I think you was the one being weird in that other live too. The chain too small. Man, shoot. I see what you want. But yeah, for the most part, with your understanding these different processes, right? What you learning about in real life, these things need you. It's like you can choose whatever route you want to go in, but when it comes to these things, you know, if you're bringing a lesson from it, or you're coming to some kind of conclusion that is going to help you get into a better position next time, then that's what, you know, that's the benefit of it. That's the value of it. And Jupiter kind of being on that cusp between Taurus, again, it's all about quality of thoughts, right? At this point, you got to realize in Gemini season, that's why I say it's flame and sword season, because depending on the strength of your mentality, and again, shout out Mello, he said, block that motherfucker, man, he cool, he you know what I'm saying? I guess he just expressing himself. He said, no offense, you know, I don't, you know, shout out Elheem. When it comes to and shout out Blaze and Mellow, like he said, be a man season. That's really what I mean by flame and sword season, where, you know, your mentality right now, and even in that essence, right? Flame swords is another word for saying communication, and your willingness to draw your sword to defend what's right and wrong. That's like you choosing to, you know, put your thought in the right place, to speak up for yourself and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of ways, if you understand even the nature of Mercury and how close it beat to the sun, it's really like keeping your sword close to you. That is your form of weaponry, the way you think, and the ability to communicate, to speak your piece. You speak your piece. It's like a way of creating peace through speaking your mind. If you've ever experienced a time in your life where you didn't speak up for yourself, 9 times out of 10, that's the most chaotic point in your life. When you didn't have the ability to speak up for yourself, you was at the mercy of everybody else around you who had something to say about what you was doing. You let somebody else thoughts or ideas take up too much space in your mind. Next thing you know, boom, you drifting this way, you drifting that way. You know what I'm saying? That right there is chaos in and of itself. So right here, and it's crazy because Gemini is a mutable sign. So the first instinct you might end up doing, or the first mistake you might end up making, is going along with whatever the flow is. What everybody else is talking about becomes what you want to talk about. But you're directly going against yourself if you've been planting seeds in Aries and Taurus, really taking serious what you value and making that a mark. You set yourself up to be basically played, to get the short end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? And again, the moon being a Libra, in the beginning, you know, yesterday when it was still cuspy, you might have been thinking everything was still kind of, you know, sweet. Now, right now, the moon going into Scorpio, it's highly important for you to be aware of first and foremost your own mind, and how far and how deep your mind is willing to go into something, right? Whether it's digging you a hole into the ground or setting you up for it to be, again, flame and sword. That implies war. And we've been saying kind of this year, in this new world, there is warfare going on spiritually, and we can kind of tell based upon nobody in the world and the world that they done built, right? And when I say they, we know exactly who we talking about, right? Individuals, spiritual groups who are behind the scenes putting together certain things in society as pillars and making their thoughts and their minds more important than everybody else's. So they're kind of creating these different blockages that come up into everyday life, right? Like getting up, going to work. But see, they create certain circumstances in the sense of that job still ain't enough to do everything you want to do. You know, at a certain point, you spending all your time and energy and attention to this job, and it's going right to what they want to see and build. So it keeps you in a loop if you're not aware. Being aware, though, can help you take certain energies and place them into the places they supposed to be. Shout out Mello. He was tweeting and stuff like that, and speaking on how, you know, part of one of the ways and tactics you can go about this whole situation is getting yourself in a certain position and taking those resources and using them to do what you're trying to do, aka build a world. And this is a part of what we be trying to do too, as a community, come together in ways in which we can start to build our own images and show other individuals a different way of going about life that doesn't look like how they got things set up, to the point where it becomes a dog eat dog world, to the point it becomes you know, all about material. It becomes putting material in front of one's own mental health, killing oneself for the sake of just being able to feed your family. It shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? And the only way to change the world in a lot of ways, or the only way to change the world, is to be the example of an alternative way, and staying strong in that, building up enough individuals, sparking enough minds to figure out how they can teamwork, make the dream work, and create that new reality. Because if you understand what the world really is, it's a collection of all our different ideas coming together. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to this shit, this is where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? Within this new world and what's going on, we see different things happening in the sense of, no, you better get your shit together. And not only that, you better be around others who got their shit together, so that you can start to put together some kind of force, something substantial that can start to make real movements in the world, creating certain hubs of resources, so that, yeah, we can feed each other. And that's how we gonna survive certain times like this, where it seemed like the access to things that should be offered just for basic survival and basic, you know, health and reassurance and safety are being stripped away, or not, you know, again, like I said, lost access. He said, that's right, stealing their stuff to show people a new possibility. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing about the world that you should never forget, is that real recognize real. When you put together some real shit, you might not feel like what you got to post mean anything, but if you know that's coming from a real place, you better express it, because that's all that there is to do here. And that through that expression, you open the door for others to connect with you, and through that connection, that's what life becomes about. relationships in that aspect, where now someone else's perspective can add on yours, and you don't have to just look through life through that one lens. You can embrace the ideas of another individual, and then boom, now all of a sudden you're broader, and that broader energy helps you when you go back into your dream, into your own individual space, into your spiritual world. Now you have more things to pull from. You know what I'm saying? And this is how we build these worlds, you know what I'm saying? And we can actually start to trace our footprints in the sand, but we also take what they taught us in those spaces, past lives and past energies, and we also bring those to offer other individuals, to spark their minds, to help their dreams. And it's really about the children and what we can pass down to them, for them to be able to grow up strong with healthy minds that can help perpetuate a different world that looks like something we actually want to be a part of, instead of this world that we done let get to a point in which it becomes it's almost unbearable sometimes to really deal with some of the things. Like some I'm talking about some people in certain circumstances, it's unbearable to watch sometimes. Hearing some of these stories and shit like that from people just going through shit. I mean, like, I got my own problems, everybody got their own problems, but some of the things that other people be really having to deal with, I'm like, damn. My heart be going out to them. But for the real shit, like I said, it's flame and sword season, so you got to get your mind right and speak up. Because too much idle mind energy, too much energy, spending just too much time in areas and spaces that it don't belong, that's going to be your downfall right now. Because it's going to be a high time for distractions. It's going to be a high time for confusion. Anybody talking too fast right now, and let's say you in a vulnerable position, you're going to be willing to take what any and everybody is saying as the first thing to jump on to help you get out that situation. But you don't realize too, Gemini's the jokester. Sometimes you be thinking you talking to one face and it's the other face scheming behind it. Shout out Sunshine. She said, I'm in a situation like that right now. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? And again, quality of thought. Remember that. Jupiter is going into Gemini. So quality of this, boy, you know you can't fit in this tiny ass parking spot. You know you got this Ford F-150. You know you can't fit in this. You can't fit in this parking. I ain't gonna give it no mind. But like I was saying, Jupiter going into Gemini season, so that's why you backing out. Jupiter going to Gemini, right? It's quality of thought. You know what I'm saying? You have to really during this time pay very close attention to the quality of thought, and as certain thoughts are entering your space, you know, really take the time to assess and apply wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because there's things you've experienced that taught you what thoughts lead down to certain lines of events, what thoughts you should have faith in, and what thoughts you maybe, again, might seem very real, but at the same time, you know, you have the authority to decide whether or not you want to defend that in your mind, argue that point, justify that reasoning to be your truth and reality, or do you want to switch that up? Do you want to go to a different portal? You know what I'm saying? It's all portals. He said, we are two fish on the license plate. Man, shoot. Man, man, them two fishes, man. I learned a lot, though, about them two fishes when it comes to Pisces energy. You know what I'm saying? When they say those two fishes, the whole thing with Pisces is those two, a lot of times it be, you know, people can look at them as allegories, as one connected to reality, one connected to your emotional space, one connected to, you know, what is it? I forgot the other analogy to it, or maybe your positive side and your negative side. But you realize, even as especially as a Pisces, when you really start to hit them spaces, the best thing you could do, you realize really one fish is meant to be, that it's really one fish. You're really supposed to be bringing them together, but one of them really is an anchor. And it's almost like a metaphor or allegory for you walking through life, being able to see a few steps ahead of you, but at the same time still being rooted in where you are in the present. The water is kind of more like the past. It's almost like with Pisces being at the end, it's like the past is the future. So you understand emotional patterns as a Pisces. You learn how to move better in the present. You know what I'm saying? How to take care of yourself in ways that don't lead you down straitjacket moments, that don't lead you down, you know, certain spaces about, you know, certain spaces that you don't belong. He said, do you know about houses in the very late or early degrees of a sign? What does that sign automatically go into the next sign? Does that sign? Yeah, are you talking about like overlapping houses? Because if so, yeah, that's basically what happens. You can consider both of those signs part of that house. I kind of like to look at it as two ways, because some people be like, oh no, it's just that first house. But I look at it like, depending on, I look at it like percentage levels. Early on in that energy is one energy, later on is another energy, but both energies occupy that space. So you're going to have experiences that feel like a cusp in that space. But let's say you have a majority of a certain energy in that space. That means that that's probably what you're going to see most, but you can add a little bit of the sprinkle of the other energy to give you more context on what's going on in that house. So let's say you got Sag and Scorpio in the house, and a little bit of Sag, a whole lot of Scorpio. It's going to be a lot of behind the scenes moments and things dealing with deep and undercover shit. But every now and then there's going to be flashes and glimpses of Sagittarius energies where it's about, you know, setting yourself free from that, or it's about not wanting to be, you know, trapped inside those deep emotions. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm a Pisces moon, and that is rough being an Aquarius sun. Yeah, I feel you on that one. Emotions and logic. But see, everything got its own other side to it. You know what I'm saying? You got a very broad sense of emotional sensitivity and intelligence access, and you have the proper energies to communicate it without being too swayed. You know what I'm saying? Your moon might sway, but your way of seeing it will stay the same. If you apply the right logic, you can come up with a lot of creative metaphors and ways to communicate that. Shout out to Lady Like Me. She said North Node in Pisces. Real shit. I got North Node in the 12th house. He said, thank God for Daniel. Real shit. He said, yep, got Pisces first house investor. Real shit. So, and see, right now, that's the thing. So speaking of Pisces energy in general, right now we got Saturn in Pisces. It's going to be squaring off with the sun the whole season. So what we see as reality, a lot of times we're going to have to deal with the emotional aspects and not getting too wrapped up in it in order to do what we need to get done. So our emotions and the way we see reality, we're going to have to learn how to assess, analyze without being too emotionally attached to certain outcomes, what we believe, or what we have faith in. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, when it comes to this energy, like I said, that part of that flaming sword is to have the confidence within yourself to say, okay, yeah, I gotta put an end to this line of thinking that's attached to this certain feeling, because it's going to create a reality that reflects that. And again, when you get too wrapped up in any emotional state, it becomes damn near impossible to communicate effectively. Any form of being wrapped up in an emotion is going to alter your way of communicating. It's like if you think about air being light and very floaty and free, the second you add weight to it, aka water, that's when you start to get those cloudy days. That's when you start to affect air immediately, the air quality. You know what I'm saying? You say, I've been going through this, forcing myself not to water any old thought with emotion. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And see, that becomes tricky too, because you want to process emotions, but not be, you know, consumed by them. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I think, especially as a woman, I want to say, I can't really tell, but you know, it kind of depends too, as a woman and a man, or a woman especially. You know, your processing is different than the man's processing, so that's taken into account. You know what I'm saying? Still have to process those emotions to understand what they are, but not allow your mind to overtake that, because Gemini just creates that overthinking energy where every little thing is going to become a conversation in your head. And again, with the moon being in Scorpio, that in conjunction, that misunderstanding, you might think the right thing to do is to think until you feel better about it. And it's like, when you go down that rabbit hole, sometimes all that thinking, all that feeling doesn't do anything but create more blockages. You know what I'm saying? And that's like for in general during this time. He said Daniel is the allegory of emotional mature men, which you are. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I be having my faults though on some real shit. In the Bible, he leads his people out of exile, if I'm not mistaken. Real shit. I gotta read that. I'm familiar with the Bible, but I haven't, like, if I see a passage through something, I'll dive into it and dissect it. But I haven't gone through the actual Bible and reread it with new eyes, fresh eyes. I want to, but man, I don't mind reading, but my mind just be too active. I get distracted. I read the same line like 20 times just because my mind will start going somewhere else, and while I'm trying to do it. But yeah, so flaming sword season, boom, boom, boom. So moon in Scorpio, right? Moon in Scorpio is going to be trining that Pisces and Saturn energy. So in a sense though, there's an ability or a gift that we have to emotionally he said the passages with Gabriel. Yeah, shout out the Archangel Gabriel and all the archangels, Uriel, Raphael, and the other one. It was the other one. Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, and Michael. That's what it is. Michael, the only L that sound a little different. Michael. I think back then they was saying that Michael or something like that. Some saucy shit like that. Something zesty. But for the most part, when it comes to the energy currently, it's like yeah, Moon trining Saturn. Being able to it's almost like this is where it gets tricky, because we can start to back and support what's real or how we feel and make what we feel real. So that's kind of like the trine between the moon and Scorpio and Saturn and Pisces. We can make what we feel very real, but the moon falls in Scorpio, so what we start to feel and resonate on an emotional level might be something too in the dark, or we might try to take our mind there deep in the dark, where we can't find sufficient airways to come back up and bring things back to the surface, to revive ourselves, to bring life into it. You know what I'm saying? We have to remind ourselves that, hey, as deep as we want to go on, make sure the quality, again, like I said, quality of thought, because that thought is what's going to try to dive at the moment. You know, everybody's emotional state is in that Scorpio space. So it's like with Scorpio, you know, it's all about transformation. It's all about death. So again, like I was saying with flaming sword, do you want to stab yourself, or do you want to prepare for war? Preparing for war needs to be you, like, basically souping yourself up with the right materials mentally to prepare you for emotional turbulence, transformation, death. You got to also come to certain conclusions on what you have to transform within your, again, it's ways that we think every day that literally lead to us making mistakes in other areas in life. And that's just how it goes. Like, that's the very basic thing. Like, one of the first lessons you really like peep on this spiritual journey is like, damn, like my thoughts really do be creating certain things, but in the moment it'd be so hard to kind of reel those things in. But see, the sun being in Gemini, we moving just fast enough to catch it. Mercury sliding into Gemini too eventually, that we're gonna be quick enough to catch it. But we just have to be patient with ourselves right now. Or yeah, it's like form of being patient, but at the same time, like, we have to catch it now. We have to really catch it. Like, that transition from Libra to Scorpio came real quick. So we have to really catch it, really, you know what I'm saying, jump on it and make sure that we put an end to where things could potentially start. Make sure we're modifying this way to not go too far that way. You know what I'm saying? Really man the ship. 717. Shout out to everybody on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? 717. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody coming through to the 717 conference in Atlanta, July 13th. You know what I'm saying? Tickets will be in the bio. Volunteer forms in the bio as well. If you do, you know, DJing, want to perform, got a business that you want to be a vendor and set up a table, we will be providing the tables too. I saw somebody ask that. We will be providing tables, so don't worry about that. But if you got your own setup, feel free. You said Las Vegas in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Shout out my boy Zay Quarter over there in Vegas, and the Peace Dealer. Shout out to the Peace Dealer. But on some real shit though, that's really what's going on right now. So we have to prepare ourselves for war. Moon's going to be in conjuncting Chiron. So again, we might misunderstand where we make emotional mistakes at the moment based upon what we're passionate about or what we're too internalized about to communicate or let others know. You know what I'm saying? Chiron being in Aries has been putting everybody's heart on their sleeve. It's been really, right now, it's such a strong time to purge, you know what I'm saying? And purge in a healthy way looks like you coming to grips with certain thing that you're emotionally dealing with, and that vulnerability to be raw and real with others opens the door for that North Node energy, where even on the South Node end, you might have been losing a lot of relationships, but what you gain is so much more powerful and potent because it's the relationships you're supposed to be a part of. The things that ended up falling off was meant to fall off, and the reason you was unbalanced in the first place. Shout out to Greg Kennedy, said, "Dave, be my guy. Glad to catch the live. Appreciate the work you do. Always support." Thank you, Greg, man. Shout out to you. Real shit. He said, yes, Vegas natives. Yep. Shout out to you. I gotta make it out there. Slick. I don't know. I'm trying. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I ain't even gonna speak that. Gabriel Flaming Sword is the pen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not to see you once again, old friend. Shit. Okay, rhyming. Real shit. Real shit. Equinox 3 on the way. You already know. He said adult Disney. Yeah, this shit get crazy over there. You know what I'm saying? He said the moon is transiting my moon right now, early degree Scorpio moon. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's how it be. You a Scorpio moon too, so yeah, I feel you. Scorpio moons be going through life for real. You know what I'm saying? It be like that. Everybody's moon really be going through life. Even Virgo moons, Capricorn moons especially. You know what I'm saying? Everybody really, everybody's moon. Dude, who you telling? Real shit. Real talk. But yeah, but see, the shit I was talking about with Aries, like that's a big part too. The moon in conjunction that Aries energy is like also a misunderstanding our North Node. So when it comes to our spiritual path, based upon how we feel, we might not feel like, again, a lot of that not feeling like we got it all put together in that pursuit of our spiritual path, not feeling like we might be ready for what Gemini season even has to offer. Because again, Gemini season is just hitting you with new thoughts right now. Your mind was moving so slow and calculated and paced out during Taurus. Overnight, boom, 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 you getting bombarded about things that you didn't think about for a long time, or maybe you thought about them, but being in Taurus, it gave you different security and safety around certain ways of seeing the world. Now you realize shit is changing, especially if you are a moon sign and immutable, like a Virgo moon or a Pisces moon, a Sag moon. Right now it's like you already know. Especially as a Pisces sun, I was thinking today, like, God damn, okay, I'm finna go through another 30 days of this square. What am I finna learn now? What's finna happen now? Oh, man, I gotta learn something new now. Oh, man, that's the vibe. It's like, damn, what the fuck? But see, preparing yourself for that kind of, that's really what all this flaming sword shit is about. You said, I swear my shit feel like a scary movie sometimes. You know, it's crazy. I got Scorpio in the 12th, and that was one of the things. I always liked scary dreams because I would wake up and it's like, damn, that shit is not real. And I would like try to have a scary dream sometimes just to wake up and be like, oh yeah, fuck that shit. That shit wasn't even real. And I tried to be strong in the dream too. But in the dream, my heart was racing. But to wake up and have that relief for something not being real, like that's kind of what, it's different than Scorpio moon, because you be but it's kind of the same concept. You realize all those things that life done put you through, you a lot more hard body than anybody else you meet and encounter. You said Gemini moon, heavy energy hitting hard this season. Yeah. Because, what's crazy is like, we going through so much change because the sun is not only conjunct Jupiter, but it's leaving that conjunction with Uranus. It's just really close to Uranus right now. And Uranus in them last degrees of Taurus felt like an earthquake. Certain things were shaking up, but the purpose of that shaking up was to teach you or to show you how stable you was in that area. Even if things got real shaky, how did you know to put it together? How did you manage to, hold it all together? The quality of those things you invested in, and whether or not it fell and crumbled or it stayed sturdy, that taught you a lot. It showed you a lot. And that goes to like the what I was saying too, my third point being, as we're going through these experiences, don't be afraid so much of your ability to achieve something or whether or not you'll fall short. The real thing is you're going through an experience. So first of all, cut yourself slack in that area, in that regard. Understand that it can only go two ways. You either overcome it based upon you having enough wisdom and experience to do something, or you fall short. Means that you have a lot more to learn. So what does falling short teach you? What could it teach you? Or being open to understand, if I fall short, well, what am I learning? If you overcome it though, again, that's more confirmation for you to be like, oh damn, I actually know something now. And you have to be responsible with that wisdom, because now you know, okay, if I know better, I got to do better. So it becomes a question on whether or not you're ready for what you trying to walk towards. And all of this is squaring that, all of that, and that's why this is kind of one of those seasons that, you know, show you right before we go into summer. It's squaring Saturn and Pisces. So it's showing you your dream. Does your dream have legs? Can your dream stand the test of logic? Can it be up for debate and you still feel that same way about that dream? Or does it still hold strong in the minds of others? And we have to be able to be strong. And again, flaming sword, draw your sword and make your mark. You know what I'm saying? You said, I love Scorpio energy. It's also my South Node along with my 9th and 10th house. Real shit. Yes, I got Scorpio North Node. You said, peace, King. What up, Anu? You know what I'm saying? Glad to see you back, man. He said, you just changed my life right there. It's only 2 ways. Libra sun. Yeah, real shit. Shout out to the Libras. You know what I'm saying? Free a Libra. You know, shout out to her. But real shit. You know what I'm saying? That Libra energy. Yeah, balance. You got to balance yourself out for real. It's hard for Libras too, because y'all sun naturally, it feels weakened, even though y'all strength is y'all ability to network and how y'all can show up in other people's lives. But you know, y'all still on that access of Aries to access yourself and be like, you know, be strong within yourself and understand, you know, detachment in that case, to be able to stand on your own. Realize that you are the harmony, you are the balance. And sometimes when other people get unbalanced around you, it's like that made me laugh. I said, he said tattoo on my neck bone. It's funny, but real shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all bring that balance. And without y'all, nothing would be built for real. Saturn exalted there. So y'all strength really is in y'all ability to, you know, kind of stretch out and do that right now. And see, when it comes to the Gemini energy, again, even back to communication. Right now, it's like you got to speak even if you feel like people not listening to what you got to say. Because the thing about Gemini energy is like, you might not think others are listening, but people are paying very close attention to what you're saying right now. Do you do readings like Charlie? Yes, sir, I do. You can email me at, you can go ahead and email me at, I'm gonna say you can email me at 717conference.info@gmail.com. Or you could, I don't know if this email is full. You could try davebeyond95@gmail.com. Try that one first. If that one like bounce back or do some weird stuff, you can go ahead and email me on the 717 email. But I gotta clear my emails, man. That's another thing about Gemini too. Don't let so part of Gemini too, like I said, it's showing you right before summer. Gemini is doing something Gemini is good for curiosity. Gemini is good for experimenting, jumping out there and kind of throwing things out to see what works. It's kind of similar to yeah, you said conference. Yes, sir. 717conference.info, info@gmail.com. That's the 717 page, business page. You know what I'm saying? But he said, man, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go to that conference. I just know that soul group are the people I resonate with the most. You and your girl gonna be on the $7. Hey, shit, hey, man, it's $7 bill. That's what you meant to say. Yeah, real shit. That's someone with the $7 bill. Real talk, real talk. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Yeah, we want, man. That's the whole point, you know what I'm saying? Bringing us together in real life so that we can do stuff, you know what I'm saying? Have a good time, but also chop it up, support each other's businesses, and the whole idea of things, like I was just talking about, having things circulating amongst us. Like, we need to be doing business with each other, but we also need to set up in position, doing what it is we do best, so that we can get others to want to be a part, you know, because it's about expansion. It's about the whole world type shit. So it starts to just be, you know, it's like in these lives and stuff like that, it's cool. We all, you know what I'm saying, cool in the community, but we also got to spread out. So this is part of that too, creating something, because we want cameras set up to the point where we capturing everything, and this becomes what the outside world starts to look at and be like, damn, look at that example, look at how life could be. We need to kick it with them or understand what they trying to kick, so that, you know, they want to be a part of it. Boom, boom, next thing you know, we everywhere. We already everywhere. It's just coming together. That coming together aspect. Don't tell me the lighter did. That's crazy. But that experience of us all coming together, that's what really matters at the end of the day. But going back to what I was saying about the energy. So, you know, with all this being said, like I said, it's right before the summer. So it's showing us a lot of things about who we are, our mentality at the moment. And again, the question is, we're going to be grappling back and forth, overthinking about whether or not we capable of doing that and carrying that out. And the thing is, all of this is leading up to Cancer energy. So we need to make sure that, again, how you lead this is how you start, how you're going to start to feel about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be very careful about what you start to, like I said in the beginning, expand on, expound on, defend mentally as who you are. Because the next sign being Cancer, the moon, this is the start of summer. So this is the equivalent in summertime, like whether or not you did what you were supposed to do to build yourself up, or did you entertain too much bullshit that watered down or made who you are sensitive, too sensitive to come outside, to want to stay in the house, to the point where you should be comfortable with yourself, to where anywhere you roam, anywhere you move is home. Versus those who are so afraid of the outside, all they can do is stay in a private hiding space and cover themselves from the world, because they know on some level they didn't do what they were supposed to do during that time to do it. And what does that lead to? That leads to whatever you create as that vibe is your vibe that gets shown to the world, aka boom, I just seen your email, bro, I got you. I just see Anu, shout out to you. But that becomes what you show to the world is your vibe, Leo season. And that's the heart of the summer, where we need to be going full force in whatever it is that we planted seeds with 2 seasons ago in Aries. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we planted there, that still has to be on your mind to do and set out to get to it. You know what I'm saying? Taurus, Sun, Gemini, Moon, Leo, rising. Yep. Real shit. But shout out Snatch Goddess. He said Taurus, Sun, Aries, Moon, Leo, rising. Real shit. A lot of Taurus energy. That's what's up. Yeah. So we have to be willing to kind of to stand on it, or not kind of. Got to be willing to stand on that. And it starts with speaking and thinking that way. Because if you understand also the new moons and how they've been correlated, all of those are situated in the sense of building up who you are in this new world, in that context, in this new world context. So again, are you going to allow who you used to be still bring you back into that old space, to the point where you can't move in the way you want to move in this new time, where things are literally open and free? What open for you to attack and put yourself in positions for the first time ever? Literally, you can make a video today, be known across the world tomorrow. I'm going live right now. I'm literally expressing my mind amongst a group of people who I haven't seen in person, who now we sharing thoughts, we sharing ideas, we sharing energy. That's like, bro, that's so much magic, so much. If you want to take it to material, money to be made, there's so many connections to be made. Connections are valuable in different senses. You know what I'm saying? We could never connect to people the way we can instantly right now. Like I said, I'm going live, instantly connecting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, boom, we got so much potential for things to be able to hone in on. You know what I'm saying? And the question is whether or not you're going to put yourself in position, because the sun trines Pluto. Pluto right now as a energy is all about is moving into Aquarius, right? It's retrograde now, so it's finna touch Capricorn again, because there's lessons that need to be kind of solidified. It's almost in a lot of ways we're tested on our ability to take power over certain things in our life, whether or not we're gonna let that affect how we position ourselves when the moon slides back into Aquarius. Both Aquarius and Capricorn, these are Saturnian energies. One deals with status, right? But notice status, Capricorn, is an internal energy. It's earth. It's internal though. Earth is an internal energy, even though it's logic too. Well, it's practicality. See how I differ, how every, saying the best way to differentiate it, logic is more in alignment with communication, something to be shared and conveyed to create common ground. You share logic, but what actually happens when you take logic and make it inward is you practicalize something, you solidify it. You could talk all day, but if you actually practicalize a plan, then it holds weight. It had things to be built on and become internal. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at those energies, right? Internal status first comes from what you build inside yourself as discipline, as a systematic way of going about something, right? These things become what you stand on, what you're known for. It's like what you show up consistently as comes from your root, comes from internally. What you've built as a moral, not kind of like a moral system, because the ninth house goes in Sagittarius, goes into Capricorn. So what you build as a moral system eventually becomes what you stand on. You know what I'm saying? But Pluto, talking about it in the context of Pluto and why it matters, is because Pluto in Capricorn has been teaching us, again, power and control over things that regarding our status, what we're known for, that when put in the context of Aquarius, a community, where do we stand? And how much pull do we have in that space? That power and control. The thing is, it's not about power over others. It's about being an individual with your own power and the things you've chosen to transform about yourself. It creates more purity in that space. So damn, okay, if everybody in the community got certain things within themselves in check, imagine how potent and powerful that energy becomes when they decide to come together and do something as a team. One of the biggest things that tear a community apart is the lack of self-accountability, the lack of being able to work on yourself, the lack of shadow work amongst individuals on their own time, what everybody's into individually. And it's like we can't monitor these things, but that's why it's up everybody's responsibility to uphold these things within themselves. Now, Pluto is kind of being trine the sun right now, but still in retrograde motion, is showing you things that you still got to change and transform before you're fit to be amongst other like-minded individuals in a way that you really supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of showing you, it's tempting you with old scenarios regarding when you had power and when you didn't have power, when you gave power away that you wasn't supposed to, when you took advantage when you wasn't supposed to. And the thing about Pluto not playing either side. Pluto here to take everything from you and to see what you do without it, really. So Pluto puts you in very vulnerable situations because it's like you shouldn't have been attaching to anything in the first place. You should have already had that power to transform with or without it. And it took it away from you to transform you, because without that transformation, you wouldn't have found the strength within yourself to put the pieces together and decide on a way to go, a way to take power over something. And again, the only thing you really taking the power over is yourself. Now, it trine in that sun, we're going to have the gift to do this with our mind, to do this mentally. So the way you talk to yourself, the way you communicate with others, what you choose to share with others, what you choose to not share, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a sign of power too. You know what I'm saying? Some people are in situations where it's like the reason why they can't develop healthy connections in their life is because they are afraid to share certain things that they haven't taken power control over in their own lives, things they're still extremely vulnerable about. The thing is, what you finna do if that information were to get out? And the more you hide and run away from being honest and vulnerable with yourself first, because when you're vulnerable with yourself, it gives you more confidence to share this with those that deserve to know what it is that you're going through. And see, one of the most powerful things, I remember, I think the first live I was doing a couple weeks ago, I was talking to somebody on the live about that energy, where it's like, yeah, at times you want to keep things to yourself. You don't want everybody knowing everything, but for those who are in your life and you want to be close with, it is highly important for you to get to the point where you can truly express some of these deep things that you grapple with. But you know what I'm saying, because it's like through another individual, it actually does a lot more healing when you're connected to somebody on that deep level, and you can share and reveal parts of yourself that you don't reveal to everybody. That's like that sacred connection. And deeply, you know, I feel like in a lot of ways, that's what everybody is afraid of. Everybody dealing with so much emotional trauma behind certain things that it leads to these layers. And see, it's kind of like a side effect. You either want to be friends with everybody because you're thirsty for that real connection. So it's like you don't have that one real connection or enough of those real connections in your personal life to feel comfortable with just one person. So you want to get a bunch of people and always be in the mix, or the opposite. It makes you extremely alone and you want to isolate from everybody. But even the closest people to you don't even get that connection because you still afraid to let people closer into that space. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of things that Scorpio, again, brings up again. And it shows you even through communication. Like, again, on one end, the moon in Scorpio, sun in Gemini can make you too loose at the mouth that you just in the mood right now to express certain or communicate certain things. But when the moon shifts, you're going to be embarrassed you shared that. Or it can make you, on a positive end, it can make you more sincere. It can help you see those around you that you want to have those harder conversations with. And it can actually encourage you to bring some of those things out, and you'll be surprised at how much better the connection becomes when you choose to reveal yourself in those ways. And if that energy could be received, again, it's not always going to be how you want it to be received, but the question is the quality of people around you and your surroundings. Who's really there? And again, if you've been doing what you're supposed to do in Aries season, the new seeds you planted about who you are in this new time, those things have reverberated and become the seeds you planted in Taurus that became what you stood on, right? You developed a certain logic about it. You valued it. So now, because you valued it, you have not only self-confidence, but what self-confidence looks like to others is something that they should value as well. If they care about you, moon exalted in Taurus, if someone cares about you, they're going to learn how to value the same things you value. Even if their values are in other areas, that's part of that connection, that comfort, that security, right? That's with another individual. Even within yourself, though, when you realize you value something, you're willing to stand on it and defend it in ways that you can't if you still haven't decided that that's what you want to do. Investments. You know, again, a lot of y'all got dreams and stuff like that, goals that y'all really want to do. You want to be a painter, but you haven't bought a paintbrush yet, because every time you get your check, you spend it on a million other things that have nothing to do with what you claim to value. How you gonna get there though? You gotta show that you care. Sometimes looking like you care is investing in it, and it don't have to look like money. It just look like where the sun was at, attention. It can look like a certain patience and carefulness and calculatedness. Even if you understand the nature of a tree and things like that, like, in order for a tree to grow, you got to water it. You know what I'm saying? You have to give it stuff. You have to give it whatever it needs that helps it grow in that environment. So take that with certain things that you value in your life. You have to give it the proper time. You have to give it the proper energy, emotions, all of that, whatever it looks like. But you have to understand what it values. But you have to and see, again, I'm talking about something else. Like you as an individual are picking a hobby, but also to yourself, part of self-care. You have to know what you value in order to give yourself more of that. Whether that's quiet time, walks in the park, whether that's more certain foods, whether that's, you have to know yourself and value yourself enough to give you that. And again, even in relationships, to the point where you're willing to speak up about what you deserve, what you feel like you want. You know, because Venus, that's what all Venus it talks about. All Venus talk about, her little ass. What I want this, I want that, I want this. And a lot of people walk around not really, maybe you know what you want, but you're not willing to say it to yourself. And if you're not saying it to yourself, you're not saying it to others. You're making excuses about it. And again, just because you want something don't make somebody obligated to give it to you. But that's a conversation for a different space, a different house. Again, because and like I said before, anybody who care about you is going to want to value or give you the things that you value. Again, and when I say that's a different space to talk about it, that's like Libra, compromise and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Where somebody might not value the same thing, but still willing to compromise, right? And compromise don't gotta look like somebody getting the short end of the stick, but it just looks like understanding the exchange of value. You know what I'm saying? Like even with connections and you know this person, I know that person, like how they say in business, relationships matter more than money a lot of times. It's because when you think about the exchange and knowing the right people, that's the leverage. You know what I'm saying? Based upon the relationships you built, you have access to different rooms. You also have access to different ideas. These different ideas, when mixed with you, again, create balances in ways that you might not even realize. You feel me? Shout out to Watkins Cat House. You said I have Pisces rising, Gemini Sun, Libra Moon. Real shit. Daughter in Scorpio rising, Aquarius Moon child. Yep. You said I've noticed the growth in them with the things they have been through lately. Yeah, real shit. Everybody growing like real fast. You said Vegas style. Real shit. But that's how I go. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to all these different things, we have to be this is it right now. You know what I'm saying? In Gemini season, it's like we have to understand, like, okay, everything is really coming from my own thinking. And we have to be just very aware of where our minds are trying to take us. And again, remember, you create the mind to make it go where you want it to go. So if you understand that, you won't let your mind wander off into a space that it's not supposed to. And you'll spend more time talking about the things you want to see in your life right now. Like I was saying in the other live too, right now, you really want to spend time either writing stuff down too. Writing down what you actually want to see around you, what you want to see manifest. Writing down things that you believe in, right? Or how you want to manifest things. Not spending too much time letting any form of overthinking take you. You know what I'm saying? Even in the way, again, you got to be mindful too of the minds of other people around you too. You know what I'm saying? If there are people you care about them, speak life. Always speak life, really. But if there are people who only speak death, or people you don't really, you know what I'm saying, what they got going on is something completely different from you, then it's time to maybe, you know what I'm saying, distance yourself in that regard. If you were around the wrong individuals, if you've been planting the wrong seeds, that's what it comes down to. It's like, damn, okay, this is the reason why I'm around these people. Like I was saying before with that Chiron energy and about speaking our mind, and how everything that we supposed to been doing has been supposed to make space with the South Node in Libra to create more distance around those individuals or those relationships that we don't belong in, based upon us being into two different things. That's the old me. That's the old part of what I used to balance and compromise with. I no longer compromise with things that don't look like my new direction, my new world, my new life. You know what I'm saying? And so going back to the moon, we talked about in conjunction, the North Node, South Node, the moon being opposite Jupiter, right? That energy in and of itself feeling very opposite to our experiences. We might not feel like we know better. We might not feel like we have the wisdom to do what it is that we need to do. But that's the thing about Jupiter right there in Gemini, the quality of it, quality of thought. Like really think long and hard. You've been experiencing this shit for a while. You know where it is you want to go. But again, certain energies pass and we get moments of doubt, moments that we forget, moments that we need to be reminded. But again, that don't make it truth. You take a minute to see the quality of those thoughts that's coming and hitting you at the moment. Hold on, slow down. Hey, I know we moving faster now, but especially in these early degrees of Gemini, we still have that cuspy energy. We still have enough of Taurus to slow stuff down and make sense out of it for a second. Does it make sense to even think like that? Whether I can succeed in this or not, does it make sense to think like that? No, it's life or death. You got to make it work. So does it make sense to even entertain that kind of way of thinking? No. So, boom, let me step on it. Boom, next. In the story. Same thing with thoughts that's hitting you that's positive. Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense to think like that. It makes a whole lot of sense. And again, don't be foolish. Discernment is always key. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to determine whether or not you even in a position to make those claims of something being possible. Now, all possibilities, yes. But let's not be foolish. Have you been holding that job down? Have you been doing what you're supposed to do in that area of life? Have you been responsible in this with this in the past? Those are questions you got to ask yourself. And again, the progress you've made is really everything we built in Taurus. I feel like a lot of this year is reminiscent of the previous 2 years to the previous 4 years. It's like a 2-4 sequence. 2, 4, 6, we in year 8. Everything about the year 8 too is showing you patterns. That's all this year is showing you. Look 2 years ago, look 4 years ago. How did you manage those energies and where did it lead you? Where are you now? Are you in a better position? Have you changed? You know what I'm saying? Because again, we are all changing, but have you really changed to the point where you can say for a fact, this is different. This is way different than what I used to be involved in. This is way different than how I went about this 2 years ago, 4 years ago, during this time, during the season. And you could see, you should probably be able to see a direct correlation. Like, yeah, okay, wait, hold on. I do see a difference. I might not be all the way there yet, but I damn sure ain't doing the same mistakes I did last time. I might not be all the way there yet, but I sure am making a lot more progress than I did previously, or I did back then. I know a little bit more. I know a little bit better. Then it's like, okay, well, shit. Maybe it makes sense to think that this year is going to be different, that I'm changing and moving and making progress. Or the other end of that, you know what? If I look 2 years ago, I'm on the same bullshit. 4 years ago, damn, this is the same bullshit I was doing, bro. Still around the same people, still not doing this, still not doing enough of that. Again, I don't advocate for beating yourself into the ground to the point where you become more stagnant, you become more, procrastinating, but you got to be real with yourself. But at the same time, there's potential for growth and everything. Again, when you fall short, what has that taught me in order to do better in the present? Because all you got is the present. See, a lot of people get depressed before they look at the present. You know what I'm saying? Like, not trying to make a play on words, but people get depressed before they look at the present. It's like you already double downing on certain shit, dragging yourself into this space of immobility, when it's like, if you just look at the present moment, if you suck it up, make those changes in arrangements, you're now on those first steps to getting it right. That's a lot better than staying in that same stuck place. You know what I'm saying? Again, and we in a certain energy right now where those of you who are too emotional about what you think and what's on your mind, and too emotional about what you see in front of you, you may not move at the rate you need to be moving during an air transit. Air is supposed to be light enough to make moves, regardless of how it feels. Earth, we left the Earth transit. Earth is a little slower, but we still need to be grounded enough to not let our emotions take us this way, that way, and keep us in a space in which we're not soaking things up. We're not getting a grip on shit. You know what I'm saying? It's all about getting a grip. If things are too wet and muddy, it's too slippery. If you're too emotional, you can't get a grip. Can't make sense out of this. You can't get up and go to work because you're too much in this feeling, too much in that feeling. You can't make sense out of what to do with your check because you're too depressed. Money going to the wrong things, like the things that keep you distracted. Drinks, getting drunk, getting pills, getting all this other stuff that you don't need to be getting. You need to be getting a grip. You know what I'm saying? You need to be getting more into reality and what you can do to fix your circumstance. Emotions do a lot of things that's positive, but they also do a lot of things that's negative. Again, we have to know how to process our emotions, but we can't let our emotions become us. Emotions are great for peeping patterns. You keep feeling like this, there's an emotional pattern or pathway you keep walking down. How do we adjust that? Part of adjusting that is changing how we think and see, our perception. But a lot of times you can't even get there without the proper a lot of people stay in the same feeling because they can't change their perspective. Miller said air is freedom, can't be free with heaviness and hesitation. Real shit. That goes against everything that air believes in. And if we going through an air transit, first and foremost, and you should understand the elements to this by this time. You know what I'm saying? If you've been following the channel for a while too, you know when it comes to emotions, those things are literally like, those things soak you. Those things make you slower. Those things bring you in the past. Fire brings you ahead of things. right? Earth keeps you in the present. Air is supposed to jump into each one of these things. But the thing about air is it's, like Mello said, it's free. So it's about movement. The point of air is to move, fluid. You know what I'm saying? If our thoughts are, if we're too emotional, our thoughts get stuck. If we're too excited or on fire, our thoughts move at a rate in which it's faster than it can kind of keep up with. If Earth moving with air, again, we can actually communicate something that we can want to practicalize. So, you know, but if we're too stuck in that space, we don't have the movement to get out of something. You know, we don't have the movement to keep moving forward. Or, you know, say it's like if you're too, it's like air and earth could be the energy of overthinking, where you're thinking so much you're not making moves. You know what I'm saying? Point of air is movement. He said, Jackie New, shout out Jackie New. He said at the hood gas station with the speakers up high as a bitch right now. Yeah, real shit. Let them know. You know what I'm saying? They be in this motherfucker. But that's how I go. So if you're not taking the time, like with air, it's like you really gotta be on point with what you thinking about. As during the air transit, there's no other way to go about it. Otherwise, you're gonna be tripping over yourself. You're gonna be making moves, going in certain areas. And the thing about it, the whole time you're gonna be either choosing to over communicate or not talking enough. So the not talking enough is gonna be you not speaking up for yourself. You getting the short end of the stick just based upon you not being willing to say, hey, I want this. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, y'all, pay attention to this. This is what I know. Kicking game. Sun real close to Jupiter. So a lot on top of everything I'm talking about, the quality of your thoughts internally, right now is literally a time where you really supposed to be speaking about what you know, speaking about what you've been through, because there's chances or opportunities of somebody hearing that shit and it either changing their life in some way, which could lead to everything that you probably need right now, that you like, oh man, if I just had enough money to do this. Man, you don't know. If you spoke what you know, you might just say something that'll put $1 million in your pocket. You might just fuck around and spark an idea that's going to take you to that next level that you're trying to get as an artist. You never know. And if you don't say what you mean and mean what you say at the same time, you miss those opportunities. But again, it comes back to confidence. It comes back and all the things we was talking about in Taurus season. Like, damn, if you really invested in what you value, you got something to say right now. You just scared to say it. That's the thing. And Scorpio, the moon in Scorpio is really showing you, it's going to bring, that's the thing, like we was just talking about earlier, the moon in Scorpio can bring those scary thoughts. What if it don't work out? What if it don't look like this? What if I sting myself by one, like, see, one of the big things about Scorpio, really, what if I sting myself by really wanting something that I end up not getting? Like, that's a Scorpio worst nightmare. If I put passion and energy into something and it just fall right out of my hands, because that's not what they want to go through. That's not what anybody want to go through. But that Scorpio moon energy can bring those kind of thoughts to you, to the point where you get afraid to even try something, because it's like, you're like, damn, what if all this emotion I feel behind something and it don't work out? And that's what Scorpio, again, high octave Scorpios grow to learn, that all of that emotional buildup creates an aura that gets in their way. They learn how to transmute stuff early, or to get to a point where, again, you looking more at the Phoenix, when you're looking at where those things that created that vulnerable space based upon that emotional buildup become the very same thing that propelled them into success. Where you'll see a Scorpio at a top position because of their ability to overcome some of those feelings of what if it all goes to nothing? What if it all dies and stuff like that? They accept the fact, they'll know this shit will transform and I will be okay because I could just do it again. And then that creates a different gear in a Scorpio. But speaking in the Scorpio moon, that's how we got to be approaching this energy currently. Hey, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, at the end of it all, it could go two ways. Either I'm going to overcome it, or it's just another thing I got to learn in order to get my feet right. You know what I'm saying? But in a lot of ways, we have to understand, we have to really be true with ourselves and be honest. Like, are you ready? Are you ready or not? And again, only you can answer that question. But it don't hurt to try, because at least if you try, at least if you put the energy out there, you'll get to see the result. and you can see in reality whether or not you need to keep pursuing it the way you've been pursuing it, or if things need to change. So many people waste their life scared to do something, finally do a little bit of it, and they realize, oh damn, if I just change this one thing, I could have been where I wanted to be 10 years earlier. And that's when, again, it's like, damn, I done waited so long, you know what I'm saying, just to get confirmation on something I could have been doing the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He said, bro, I've been thinking the same shit. Real, man, it's like it's crazy how that happens though. But that's so true. It's like everybody be doing the same shit. It's just nobody like understand how to put it into words, or the way they go, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you put it into words, but you still be thinking like, is that really how it is? And it really be how it is. It really be that simple. But when we you know, when you're in the face of it, like right now, I feel like I said before, the sun being so close to Jupiter, it really is like, man, you can experience your thoughts right now. Do with that what you will. You know what I'm saying? You can experience your thoughts right now. So if you put together some beautiful thoughts and you just choose to believe in that shit and go through the square between Saturn and Pisces and learn how to deal with that debate on an emotional level, you walking down a path that God can be proud of. You know what I'm saying? Because you actually taking it there. And the thing is, the beautiful thing is, you will get confronted with shit you're wrong about. And but the best thing about being wrong is the opportunity to get right. You know what I'm saying? But this energy be reflecting us and what we need to bring these energies into the physical. Yeah, exactly. That's literally it, bro. It's like, as you get hit with the conflict, it's showing you, it's like, these are the internal materials for you to do what you actually trying to do. Because it's like, if you really think, you said for everything to work and evolve, real shit. It's like, if you really think about it, the universe works according to your perception to a degree, right? It's like, if you believe something is going to work out, a lot of times what you receive from the universe as an experience teaches you, oh, that's why it wasn't working out. Adjust this. But sometimes people don't see it like that. People see it as a no. You know, people see it as a rejection or some form of blockage. And so because people don't know how to handle that, or they're not seeing that in the right way, they add on to the blockage instead of adding on to the correction. The universe really be trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like to pick sides when it comes to the universe and say, oh, the universe on your side or the universe against you, because that starts to get those weird spaces where, you know what I'm saying, people just be talking shit. But if you really think about it, the universe be trying to fuck with you. Like how we be saying, you only get what you deserve. You based upon your perception, you literally interpret. You're the interpreter. That's what we mean by when we say you the creator, not the creation. You the one interpreting shit. This shit can either mean something for your benefit or something against you. Now, we got to be real. If you know you out here doing wrong, and you know you're not doing shit right, you know you doing people dirty, you know you telling lies here, telling lies there, you know what you receive is that result, that consequence. Yeah, I need to get my shit out. I'm fucking up. But if you know you doing shit to the best of your ability, what you receiving, bro, is literally showing you. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It be trying to tell you where to go. It's literally here for you. Cause see, see, that's what we mean by blood on your hands. Because blood on your hands is really you just doing some Birdman business. You doing some stuff in the shadows, or you manipulating stuff that leads other people down pathways and stuff and fuck up their life, and you just kind of like, oh well, you know what I'm saying? The blood is on your hands. You gave somebody a thought, idea, led them down a path, and now boom, they done got into a car crash down that street. Damn. You know what I'm saying? You might think it's all good, but you know, blood stains. We can see it on you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It becomes a pattern. People have things to tell, stories to tell. You know what I'm saying? People who love that person that crashed, they gonna tell their friend like, yeah, that's the motherfucker who sent them down that road. That motherfucker right there. It's an allegory. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how karma develops. Because again, if you accept that guilt, now your life becomes the talk of the town. You know what I'm saying? Said being a creator of hell, so to speak. Exactly. You create your own hell every day. It's like the universe is just helping you put the materials that you brought to it. The universe can only work with what you gave it. That's the point. The universe can only work with what you gave it. So if you give it bullshit, look at your life. If you gave it some good shit, again, things might not be perfect, but who's to say you just not seeing it that way yet? Or it just don't look like how you want it. That's the problem with people, humans and shit like that. It's like you be wanting stuff to look a certain way, and when it don't look that way, you discount it. You be like, ah, nah, man, nah, that ain't what I wanted. That ain't what I ordered. But you don't realize it is what you ordered. It just look a little different than it did in the picture on the menu. It just look a little different. You got to assemble it. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's not always fun, or that don't always make sense to you, but that's how the universe works. It give you exactly what you give it. But so many times people be given stuff, and again, we play out our own resistance a lot of times, just based upon how we think about things. And it's literally your fault. Like I was saying before, that's one of the things. It's like everything you experience, you ask for. You ask for that. And again, I know people be going through some fucked up experiences, and I would never say, well, never is a strong word, but it's like I try not to speak in a way of, I don't want people who went through those things to really like take on too much of the, the trauma of like, but you have to accept certain things that, okay, there was something for you to learn through that experience, no matter how dark and demented it might seem. It was something you wanted to, whether you wanted to be a vessel that taught about it, whether you wanted to be a vessel that had to see it to understand it. Because sometimes, like, it's so many different ways that things can manifest, right? There could be certain things that you were supposed to experience just to be the vessel to teach others about how to get through that. And in a past life, there could have been things you was involved in that you didn't quite understand the full grasp of what you was getting into or what you used to be into. So who's to, it's like, it's very weird because it can get that deep, but it's like in some way you ask for what you're experiencing. And sometimes we get lost in trying to figure out what that meaning is. But at the end of it all, it's like once you start to piece together why you might have asked for that, why you might have put that together in your experience. You know what I'm saying? And again, like I know people be going through shit in which other people became predators towards them, and it seemed like they attacked them. And I'm not speaking from that third dimensional level of, oh, you asked for it. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying as far as experiences and these emotional things that we deal with and that we grapple with, these complexes that are created by the experiences we go through that develop as emotional trauma and things like that. Start to ask yourself those questions of like, what was I trying to search for? What was I digging? You know what I'm saying? What was I digging for that I needed that experience to show me in order to be a vessel for God? You know what I'm saying? To be a vessel to teach or show something, or to, oh shit, hold on. Okay, I seen this little girl in the street and this dude was speeding down the street. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to Anu. You say you participate in a larger experiment or experience. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Again, things be larger than you. So you, and again, and that goes out for the people who might be trying to, off themselves and stuff like that. Look, it might be something you here for before you know what I'm saying? And again, like, you got to do what you got to do and stuff like that. I understand. Like, people be ready to just start again. Again, you're not running from nothing. You finna come right back. Just understand that. But again, sometimes you just be like, man, fuck it, I want to reset. I get it. But at the same time, consider the fact if you still on the fence and you know what I'm saying, and there's you still like, I just can't put it together in your mind, just start to understand and believe. Like, look, see it the way it's something for you to teach. It's something for you to show here that only could be spoken through your tongue. So if you embrace that, you might not, again, something might just happen to show you that. And again, you'll find beauty and love and life just the way everybody else does, even though you've been through some dark shit, even though you've been through some fucked up shit. And again, that's the extreme degree, but just even on lighter degrees, there's certain things you went through and experiences. You was abused in certain areas and stuff like that. You just might be the person who saved somebody else's life. And it might, and again, let's get away from the age of Aquarius thought of it's something, a viral moment. This is like real life stuff. This could be a neighbor down the street that you only talked to 2 times. But something you said that can only be categorized as you going through in a certain experience and having wisdom to share, and you resonated with something they said and you connected and you was able to speak in a language only y'all can connect to, you changed their life. You saved their life. And you might not even have no idea, but you have to walk. It's almost like you have to walk, like real spirituality, you have to walk as if that's what's happening. God walking, talking through you, because then you become a lot more intentional with different actions and things you express. You don't be so quick to just jump onto the bullshit side of life and the third dimensional way of speaking, where nobody really saying what they mean. Everybody just trying to be seen or trying to be heard. You speak from a place of realness. You speak from a place in which you actually inspiring people. You actually change, you know what I'm saying? You changing the world because you are literally being an example of what it means to be real, what it means to be a real individual. You know what I'm saying? Spirituality is now beyond just being an individual. It's about the quality of the individual. Like, what are you as an individual representing? What's on your mind? What's on your heart that you're sharing? It's no longer, oh, I'm just an individual, so I'm spiritual. No. Shout out to Mooney Mercury, baby, because he was saying, he made a tweet about that too. Like, spirituality is being reduced to, you know what I'm saying? It's being reduced to, oh, I'm just online and I manifest and I, you know what I'm saying? Oh, every day's a good day because I'm in a good vibe and we need to be better to each other and love each other. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Not saying nothing. Not saying shit. That ain't helping nobody with their mind. People's minds are fucked up right now. That's the spiritual warfare. People's minds are fucked up right now. It's hard to think for some people. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know what to think right now. They look up in the sky, hologram Jesus. They aunties watching a pastor, TD Jakes, who came in on a plane and using AI for his scripture. It's crazy. I'm saying they teaching you about dinosaurs. What the fuck we learning about dinosaurs for? What the fuck is, like, you know what I'm saying, in schools and shit like that? What the fuck are we learning about dinosaurs? What was that for? Niggas made up a bunch of shit and said, oh yeah, we found fossils and shit. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? They just making up their own shit and giving us fairy tales. Motherfuckers think spirituality is feeling good. Right. And it's not. If anything, spirituality is learning how to deal with feeling like shit, like you in the world, bro. Like, spirituality is helping you not just feel like shit. Like, you know, it's helping you deal with the balance. Really not learning how to feel like no thing. That's really what spirituality is supposed to be teaching you, how to feel like no thing, so that you can be the creator in this shit, so that you can now use this stuff as tools and you can become the change. You can become the spark and shit like that. Your spirituality is supposed to teach you how to feel no thing. And I mean feel like no thing. Where you moving more towards all possibilities, where you're not becoming any feeling. You know what I'm saying? You're not becoming that. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? People be becoming these feelings and stuff like that because we be so scared to feel anything other than what we want to feel. Like, oh, I want to always feel happy. You realize whole nations was destroyed because one person wanted to feel like something forever. You realize that, right? Like, if you understand ancient texts and you look at some of these storylines and stuff like that, because it's all storylines. every dynasty being destroyed, civilization being toppled over, was because a group of individuals wanted to feel a certain way for too long and didn't allow no change. Didn't allow no change, didn't allow no natural life to take place. Just trying to feel that one thing too long. That's what leads to people's demise. That's what keep people addicted to drugs. That's what keep people in certain spaces in life and stuff like that. Just wanting to feel that shit too long. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't, it's like, you got to know how to change and move and develop like with life. You know what I'm saying? It's meant to change, and you meant to change with it. Now, the moon in Scorpio too, again, reminding everybody of that emotional transformation that needs to happen. So that's one thing you always got to keep in mind. I like to look at water moon transits as insecurity sensors. You know what I'm saying? If it's a good time to look at your own insecurities, and then depending on the modality and what we're dealing with, that teaches you how to deal with those insecurities, what you need to do. Cancer, a lot of times it's about initiating a new feeling, a new comfort zone, even if you feel uncomfortable. In Pisces, it's about connecting to it, understand how that's shared. It's kind of like with Pisces, it could be how you embody it and how it takes over your faith, what you believe in, like you believe too much of this feeling or this or that, or picking up on what you think others feel and stuff like that. So you understand, okay, I need to separate from this because this is not what I truly feel, it's what everybody else feeling. So this might not be my insecurity, but I believe this about myself, so I need to separate or change that. You know, with Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, that's transformation, but it's also fixating on it. So, or going to war with it, really. That's really what it's about more than anything. Scorpio is kind of like one of those tricky ones, because it's kind of like, if it's positive, then you know, okay, it's something you can use the fixated natures of Scorpio and you can use it for war. You can hone in on it and it becomes your sword. It becomes your passion and your ability to get up and change something. But see, even in a positive sense of the moon being in Scorpio, you're still going to be fighting through something. You're still going to be having to go to war. But it's just, you could fixate on what you already feel and use that for war. In other contexts, though, it's dealing with insecurities, and it's showing you all the things you got to let go of in order to get the upper hand at war. So it might be things that's still keeping you in an emotional state. The key is to transform those things so you're no longer exposed in those areas to be destroyed through those things, because that's what destroys Scorpios. They be too fixated on something to the point where it becomes their soft spot. It's like it's almost like somebody coming to the spot, right? Let's say you at a party or something like that, and somebody come in there and all they want to talk about is how they fight. I fight. I'm such a good fighter. I fight. And then it's like at the end of the night, they end up getting their ass whooped, because it was like something that they just kept saying and kept holding on to. It's like that, to the point where it became they Achilles heel. It's like, that's actually the thing you weakest in, because it's like psychology. How they say the loudest in the room, usually the brokest or something like that. Somebody always talking about money is usually the person who ain't got it. Somebody always talking about fighting is the person who really can't fight. They just don't want to be confronted on that emotional level or on that space. So watch out for that. That's where it's like, if you were to just let go and chill out on that, you could transform that whole situation to where it wouldn't need that. It's kind of like an aura thing too. How they, you know what I'm saying, bring things to their life by being too fixated on it. It's weird. He said, my broke ass Scorpio brother always talking about how he got money. Yeah, it's like, damn, like at a certain point, you know, somebody say it once or twice, you be like, yeah, maybe they got money. 3, 4 times, 6, 7, 8, like, all right, I think you kind of broke, because you just kind of honing in on it. Like, ain't nobody ask about nobody's bank account. Here you are trying to show everybody your Cash App, like, yeah, bro, I really get some money. Nah, bro, I think you're lying. Again, and it's like, they might have money, but it's just the energy, you know what I'm saying? And again, they'll be the same person who will have money and lose it just by talking about it too much, you know? And that's the thing about the sun being in conjunct. It's like, you could just be talking about something too much, you know, you honing in and harping on it, and to the point where it slips out of your hands, and now you're going through an emotional heartbreak or a heartache about it, or transformation about it because you done spoke too much about it. You done let it become something bigger than you or far away from you, based upon just, again, you create more resistance by talking about something too. You create distance. That's another thing air does. It creates distance sometimes. Sometimes air can make something a bridge to connect and relate, but sometimes air can push away. That's like how Aquarius be with ghosting, and it's not even, it's just that logic. Sometimes it can create that distance in a way, you know, based upon, that's what air does, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're not speaking the same language, and you got to really understand the language you speak at the moment, like really understand what it is you're trying to convey as a message. But going back to the moon in Scorpio, so it's opposite Jupiter. I already talked about that. Feeling uncomfortable with your experiences and what you know at the moment. Maybe even feeling insecure about it, but you need to let go of what you used to know, let go of old ways you was going down certain experiences, and let go of that. It's time to kind of move on from that, and see, that'll create the balance you need in these new times. You know what I'm saying? What you used to do don't apply to now, but it can show you how to move better in the now. But it's like, it's how you used to go, so you can't still feel attached to those old things anymore. You have to transform those. Moon opposite Uranus, we're feeling uncomfortable with ourselves maybe as an individual, so we have to come to grips with that. It's like, yeah, again, if I don't let go of these emotions that's holding me back based upon these insecurities and where I feel vulnerable, I won't be able to move into this new space. You know what I'm saying? There might be new things you have to do and show up as yourself in that don't make you feel the best, but now is the time to do that. And the better you can communicate and come up with a logic, a strong mind about moving into this new space, the better you'll be able to ride the wave in that area to actually make progress in your life. Boom, now I'm actually moving forward, versus you just being too emotional and you done let that keep you still on the same bullshit. Moon opposite Mercury, again, communication can set you free, but you got to be willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? And not be so emotionally tied to what's up for debate at the moment. AKA, it might be a way you feel, it might be a way you see something. Again, especially a way you see something. It might even be actions you're displaying. We have to allow certain things to be up for debate, and we have to be strong mentally to handle the conversation. Somebody talking to you, answer them. Don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this because I'm a Pisces. And sometimes, and my Lilith is in Gemini. Sometimes, like, especially early on, but even, you know, every now and then it's like talking, and I'm like, I gotta remind myself, like, look, just say it, and allow that to be up for debate, so that we can have a conversation. Because the conversation obviously needs to be had. All my life, it's been like that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, damn, I guess ain't nobody gonna say. I gotta say it, or, you know what I'm saying, things are being brought to me that is like, you have to respond to this. And that's kind of like the energy going on right now. It's like, you have to, it's like, I say you have to if you actually got something going for yourself and you want to keep it going. You have to, but you really don't have to. You can do whatever you want. It's just, if you choose not to, it's how they say, forever hold your peace. So if your peace isn't developed all the way yet, and you choose to not speak up, that's what you left with at the end of the day. The short end, or not enough. Not enough connection, not enough this, not enough. Again, there's things in the world you really want, right? You wouldn't be here if you ain't had no real desires. If you ain't had no real thing you trying to develop for yourself. The reason you don't have it is because of this. And there's going to be more of that manifesting if you don't speak up. At least try to put words together to say, yeah, this is me. Boom. Moon opposite yeah, okay, so that's everything in Taurus, right? We talked about the trines. Yeah, moon trine Neptune, again, like a lot of transformation around our dreams too, you know what I'm saying? But still, again, with the emotional level, we have to be willing to allow that dream to grow and develop. Because again, and it's only going to develop by more communication, sharing it a little bit. And again, even with yourself, talking to yourself about it to the point where you got it down pat mentally, and you can start to work some of the kinks out, you know. But even that, you want to still communicate it so that other eyes can be on it. It can be really analyzed, and you could really get to a better conclusion on how to make that dream better. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people would tell you talking about your dreams, opening up for other people to shoot it down. But you got to think in terms of, how strong are you? Are you going to let somebody else's 2 cents, like, you going to let somebody else's voice overtake your mind and stuff like that? You got to question yourself at a degree. You know, at a certain point, you have to be ready. And by ready, I mean prepared to deal with your dream being up for debate on whether or not it can make sense. Or, you know what I'm saying? Again, even if it gets shot down, you still can take that shit into your sacred space, work on it, and present it again. It's still got to be presented. So it's like now or never type energy. You got to do it anyway. But it's better you know now than to, again, wait, because you're scared. Then you put it out last minute and they go, oh, damn, still shot down. If you just change this one little thing, and you're like, damn, I could have changed that hella years earlier and been closer to my dream. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that song. Closer to my dream. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it really be like that. Moon, let's see, we talked about Aries, we talked about Pisces, we went to Aquarius, then we talked about Taurus, we talked about Gemini. That's where we at right now. I think that's about everything. Oh, Mars. Moon in conjunct Mars. So misunderstanding also where our passions lie. You might misunderstand what to be frustrated about too. So you might be, you know, you got to make sure you're not frustrated about the wrong things. And a lot of times that frustration is going to come from you just not actually getting up and doing what you want to do, what you're supposed to be doing. So you have to keep reminding yourself, hey, no matter how I feel, I have to still get up and do this and make this happen. I have to fight for what I want to see. Again, get your flaming sword together. Now, this energy is sextiling the sun. So we have the opportunity now to communicate about our passions, to allow our passions to add color and vibrancy to our words and what we want to say and how we want to move and connect. So allow that to work in your favor by, again, speaking up about what you're passionate about. That's the opportunity to take. But it could also look like you taking the opportunity to be very aggressive, either with your mentality or with your words. So also be careful, or be mindful, I should say, about how you speaking to people, how you talking to the people you care about. Especially Venus is making its way into Gemini. It's very close. So Venus is soon going to be less about you know, being home. It's going to be more about communicating. Venus is also known to be flighty. So again, support you might get later on down the line. Let's say you take this energy and you might not let's say the way you communicating, it's almost like this. Venus and Gemini could be that energy in which you thought something was solidified with support, regarding support or what you love, but based upon you being distracted early on, you didn't say enough things that captivated the attention of that Venus energy. So when Venus shifts into Gemini, it's almost like what you thought you was being supported on, individuals end up switching on you based upon you not really speaking as if you was confident in what you know at the moment. Or maybe let's say you was speaking, but what you was talking about wasn't shit that you value. It wasn't shit that you invested in during Taurus season. It's gonna come off a little weak, and it's gonna start now, especially with the moon going into Scorpio. It's gonna start now. People gonna start thinking twice, and then next thing you know, Venus sliding into Gemini, and people kind of flighty about it. If they flighty about it when Venus gets into Gemini, you know you must not have said enough, or you wasn't saying the shit that actually, you know, you needed to say. That's kind of like a potential negative energy that could come from Venus being in Gemini. But on the positive end, support is going to be a lot more free flowing. You could win the hearts of others based upon you, especially like with your passions and what you are representing, what you are saying can win you support. It'll be more supportive energy through proper communication. But it's like the best thing to do is to work out the kinks early. You know, right now is the perfect time to work out those kinks, get it together. Go through the kind of trial and tribulation of not knowing what to say or having the right words. As you go through the experience, you will have the right words. By that time, Jupiter will be in Gemini too. So it'll be like, damn, okay, now I got the right words. I know how to say it. I know how to swing it. Next thing you know, boom, you know what I'm saying? A lot more movement in that area. I think Jupiter will be there. If not, it'll still be cuspy, still real close. That's something to consider. After this, we got the full moon in Sag. So the full moon in Sag, again, being satisfied with your ability to expand. Again, if you're too scared to talk now, how you expect yourself to expand? You know what I'm saying? And that's going to kind of be the dilemma some people are going to be in, that still ain't saying what they need to say. Or the people who understand that right now is the time to listen and pay attention. If you're not actually picking up those pieces and utilizing it to come up with a way of speaking, you still going to feel trapped. You still going to feel like, damn, I can't quite, you know what I'm saying? I still don't know everything I need to know. But again, even treat that lightly, you know what I'm saying? Knowing everything you need to know. I mean, life is vast. We all just learning. So what you know is probably something somebody else don't know. That has value in it too. So don't sell yourself short. Still get up there and say what it is you need to say. And again, it might not be as profound as somebody else, but who cares? What they say, comparison is the thief of joy. You kill your own ego by allowing other people's comparison to you interfere with your individuality. It's like that shit don't even matter anyway. You are you. You know what I'm saying? If someone said, man, that shit outdated, well, okay, learn. That should be the first person you asking questions like, well, what am I seeing wrong? What haven't I learned yet? Or, opening your mind to be like, okay, there must be new stuff to be curious about. Because really with Gemini season, you still want to be fun loving. You still want to be curious. You still want to get out in the world and ask questions. Like this, the best time to ask questions, especially if you don't really know. Don't be afraid, because the questions you asked right now, again, you're going to be getting, that's how Geminis grow in the world for real. High octave Geminis asking a lot of questions. Low octave Geminis just talking. No questions, just talking. Just what they think. A high octave Gemini going to ask a lot of questions because they understand like that curiosity is what makes them intelligent, because that becomes things that they can, it's like when you think about mutable energy in air, that's what is powerful. The relaying of information. Oh yeah, I heard this from this person. Yeah, I heard about this. That makes a Gemini very sociable on a positive end. When a Gemini just speaking out the ass, they just talking. They just giving you information that they didn't confirm nowhere else. It's just them talking and thinking. And see, it'll have you feeling mad as hell at the Gemini, because they'll be talking like they know what they talking about. Then you'll ask them more questions and they be like, oh yeah, I don't even know where I heard that. I made that up. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really. And you be like, damn, I trusted you. I thought you was giving me information. That's what pisses an Aquarius off about a Gemini. Aquarius will get mad at a Gemini real fast because of that. Real quick. They be like, man, you don't even know nothing. Because a Gemini, because an Aquarius is up for debate. An Aquarius, if they speaking on something, even if they didn't research it, they didn't learn something that gave them enough relation to something to know something about it. So they'll talk about it in a way, and then they'll be able to listen. Now, like, it's funny. Aquarius is to be the one to be like, I feel like all air signs low-key do this, but Aquarius is sometimes to be the one to be like, if you talking about a show, and he'd be like, yeah, man, you seen this show? They'll still say yeah, but their intention for saying yeah is because they might not have seen the show, but they might have heard about it, and they want to know which information you finna give them. Because it's kind of like if you tell them that you don't know the show, they'll give you information kind of like from a perspective like you don't know shit. But so they'll say yeah because they want the you know what I'm saying, they want the juice. They want to hear like, nah, what was you finna tell me if I knew? So they'll say yeah. Now Gemini do the same thing, right? But but a Gemini would be more honest though. A Gemini would be like, nah, I never heard of that. Like, but Aquarius is funny in that way. I just pointing that out. Like Aquarius is be like, yeah, I know. They ain't watched that shit a day in your life, but you familiar enough with it to be like, all right, cool. Gemini would be like, nah, I ain't never seen that, because Gemini's don't care about that. Real shit. But that's funny. But anyway, man, moon. Yeah, that's what we're going into, that full moon in Sag. So it's like you want to be in a position where you can expand. You want to feel, yeah, you want to be in that position where you expand. But the best way to expand right now is to ask questions. Be curious, especially if you feel like you still learning. Everybody should feel like they still learning, but it's like, speak up. Even that is a form of speaking up, asking a question. Yeah, I think I seen it. What's about exactly? Sometimes Gemini they'll hit you with that. They be like, yeah, I didn't really see it, but I heard of it. they'll tell the truth though. They'll be like, they'll be like, I don't know. But yeah, real shit though. But yeah, that's what we heading into. It's gonna be more of that energy. It's like, you know, you want to be just open for the information, open for the conversation, even if it don't feel comfortable at the moment. But you know, Moon in Scorpio, you still want to be just mindful about what it is you communicating about. Where's that coming from? Are you in a fucked up space and talking, or are you from a very, you know, a good space where they can he said Gemini sextile Leo, they real unserious. Yeah, man, like Geminis are funny, man. Real shit. But you know, that's what's going on right now. It's like Gemini, you just want to be mindful, because you don't want to be speaking from a place of in that deep dark, can't see nothing, can't, you know, and all the while you can't see nothing because you're being held down by a grudge. And a grudge, not even like a vendetta or nothing, you just can't get over that one feeling, or you can't get over that one thing. And it's like you gotta grow past, you gotta transform that. And that'll set you up in a good space for when it's time to be free, when it's time to be open. Moon in Sagittarius, full moon at that matter. So it'll be, you need to be satisfied in your expansion. And that starts in Scorpio. That starts in your ability to transform and let go of what's not serving you in that way. And then yeah, the moon being yeah, the next new moon being in Gemini, it's all leading towards, you know, by the new moon in Gemini, you should have a different language. It's a different language you are able to speak. And that language is the language of your own authenticity. It's the language of what you know. You know, and it's like you want to be in this position to where what you say holds weight, or what you say, it travels. It gives you mobility, you know, but it starts here. You know, full moon in that Sagittarius space. Are you in a space to be able and willing to expand? Are you capable of expanding and being satisfied with your ability to say, yeah, I can expand? You know, there's a lot more I'm curious about. I still want to communicate. I still want to engage in this. Yeah, I'm willing to expand. Versus people who are unsatisfied, they feel like they in a cage. They don't want to expand no more on that. They, oh damn, I done picked the wrong thing. I didn't speak up about what it is I want to see in my world. Now I got to deal with experiencing a bunch of things that just leave me unsatisfied. Now you really not going to want to talk. Now you really not going to want to waste time. It's going to feel like everything is just chaotic. You're going to feel scattered. You're going to feel like, ah, I should be over here. Nah, I should be over here. Nah, I should be over here. You're going to be overthinking about every little thing you involved in. You're going to be tripping over yourself and over speaking, oversharing, undersharing, not saying enough. You're going to be kind of getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? And then the new moon will come around, and everything you say, it's like you're going to have to be quiet more, because everything out your mouth going to sound like gibberish. It's going to sound too scattered. Nah. New seeds can't be planted here, because we don't even know where the fertile ground is. We don't even know what we can, like, we don't know what we can invest in. This person ain't speaking nothing intelligent. All that Jupiter energy in Gemini, like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate all y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna put the links for the 717 conference in Atlanta, July 13th. More details, of course, when you purchase the tickets. We're gonna let everybody know, of course, what time everything's going down, the itinerary, you know, different information everybody's gonna need for their travel arrangements. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a great event, man. We trying to just do it bigger, you know, do it bigger, keep it, you know, keep it popping. You know what I'm saying? Also, the volunteer form for the 717 conference is going to be available too. So if you are cool with the camera, you got something going on with you know what I'm saying, it literally any form of art, we're going to find a way for you to be able to perform it. If you want to perform, if you're a business, bring your products, sell them, vendor, you know what I'm saying? If you know how to DJ, we need one. So shout out to you, you know what I'm saying? Come through, fill out the form. If you know how to be a videographer, you like I said, you're nice with a camera, you know, photography, let us know, and we'll put you on the staff, and then, you know, y'all will be a part of the team putting this all together. Even though if you just coming to kick it, you part of the team too. Like, shout out to you, we need y'all there. So, you know what I'm saying, we just want people to have a good time, learn, grow, you know what I'm saying, and walk away feeling inspired. You know what I'm saying? He said, love the vibe. Shout out my Kobe. Shout out, he said, thank you again for your wise words. Thank you for listening. You know what I'm saying? And you had some wise words too. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So be careful during this moon, and or be mindful during this moon in Scorpio. Happy Gemini season. Much love. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.